it's Marina, travel experta, and today we're going to talk about climbing the third largest monolith in the world, Peña de Bernal in Mexico. Are you ready to make every day an adventure? So here's the fun thing. My friends just moved to Querétaro, Mexico. Until they moved to this place, I had never even heard of Querétaro. But while they were doing their moving process, they sent me and my family an image of Peña de Bernal. Peña de Bernal is one of the pueblos mágicos, which is magic villages that surround Querétaro. So you go to Querétaro to visit Peña. Anyways, Peña de Bernal is the third largest monolith in the world and one of the most popular places to rock climb. And since they know that my kids and husband are avid rock climbers, I all of a sudden had a huge light bulb that we are going to go and visit them, and my sons will go climbing because today I'm barely able to go traveling unless there is some rock climbing involved. And that was the clincher for me. My friends, which is also my youngest son's best friend, now live in Querétaro. So you get to Peña, you could certainly stay in Peña de Bernal. Peña de Bernal is this tiny, adorable, beautiful little village. And it is really little, which makes it really easy to get around. And it all is surrounded by this monolith, this unbelievable, huge, just rock in the middle of nowhere. The rock is itself over 350 meters high. So it's almost 3,000 meters high, 3,000 feet high. It is enormous, obviously, right? And it is really popular for climbing purposes, for multi-pitch climbing and bouldering. My sons don't do multi-pitch. They are more sports climbers and bouldering. So since my husband has had a pretty severe accident, he's not able to climb right now, I had to find a good climbing guide. And before we arrived, I did a lot of homework to find a good professional climbing guide because my kids are not just the beginning novices who just want to try it. You know, they are really advanced, pretty much. Now the guy tells us they're definitely the most advanced climbers he's ever worked with. But you have to find the correct climbing guide for that level. Otherwise, they're all just pretty, cookie cutter, not so great. So after a lot of work, I found a really good climbing guide for my sons, where he first took them they went 2 times. The first day they went bouldering, and the second time they went to do actual sports climbing. So the first day, me and my husband also went, but we went to the village itself. My husband could walk, but with a limp. So the point that I was saying that it's tiny really was magical for many reasons, because my husband was able to walk around and see the beautiful little town, and I was able to enjoy it with him as well. So what's really interesting about Peña de Bernal, the actual town, is even though you have this monolith there, which is a popular climbing place, the town is not at all revolved around climbing. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know anybody climbing, you would never know that it was some place that climbers even come. Usually, whenever we go to climbing sites, the whole town is kind of like visiting a surfing village or, a skiing, snowboarding village. Everything revolves around the sport. In this particular case, not at all. Super colorful, beautiful, closed streets, tiny for you to walk around. There's different foods. The main food there is gorditas, which is a really popular Mexican dish. And also they serve nopal. Nopal is a cactus that they use quite a lot, and it comes from that particular region. But gorditas, gorditas is like 2 tortillas together, stuffed with all these different things. Plus, they have all these different artisan shops that you could walk around. And it's definitely a place, if you are going to go and visit Querétaro, you have to go and check out Peña de Bernal for one day. It's actually probably a half a day. It's 45 minutes to an hour to get to the village, 3 to 4 hours, if you're not going to be climbing, is more than enough. And if you're not going to be hiking, you can hike up as well. That's obviously an entire day event. Or you could just enjoy the actual village itself, which is what me and my husband did. There's a bunch of terrace restaurants and coffee shops, and it's just a beautifully, beautiful, magical village. So if you guys are going to go to Querétaro, please take one day and visit at least one of the Pueblo Mágicos, which would be Peña de Bernal or San Miguel de Allende. Make sure to listen to my podcast on Querétaro itself and San Miguel de Allende. I have two podcasts really talking a lot about what there is to do, why to visit those two areas as well. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review and share it with your friends. And if you want to make every day an adventure, make sure to go to my website, travelexperta.com, travel expert with an A.com, to get a list for free. And make sure you make every day an adventure.